Okay, the question was simplifying this one. I'm going to start with a little bit easier one to kick it off, just because this one gets a little bit involved. So let me kind of review what our basic plan is. If I have a root like this, and I can write that as a couple of things multiplying in there, I can then do that with it, and if one of those happens to be a perfect square, then I can take the root of it and simplify that radical. So that's our goal. So looking at this one, you can see if I did 2 times 6, that doesn't do me any good, right? Because neither of those are perfect squares. And so that's why when we go to do this, let me get that back to a pen now, the only numbers that do us any good are perfect squares. So things like 4, 9, 16, 25, things that if I take the square root, they come out an integer or a whole number. So with 12, I can look at these and go, which one divides in? And the answer would be 4, right? So with 12, I can think of this as 4 times 3. I like to write the square in front because that's what's going to come out of the radical here in a second, rather than 3 times 4. And so then thinking of this as the square root of 4 times the square root of 3, which is what that property says I can do, then this becomes 2 root 3. So that's what we're trying to do. I just wanted to do it with something easier than 294 to start off with. So we're looking for a couple of numbers that multiply to be 294, and for this to do me any good, it's got to be on that list of numbers. It's got to be a perfect square. So let's do a little process of elimination here. If I grab me out a calculator, 294, and I divide that by 4, I get 73.5. So that is not going to work. So since 4 doesn't work, anything divisible by 4, like 16 or 64, won't work either. Because if 4 doesn't divide in, neither 16 or 64, because they're both divisible by 4. So let's try 9 next and see if that gets us anywhere. So 294 divided by 9 is 32.66666, so that didn't work out for me. So that means this isn't divisible by 9, so anything else divisible by 9 won't work. So 36, because that's got that 3 in there, so that's not going to work. It doesn't end in 0 or 5. Okay, so it's not going to be 25. So that's making me want to try 49. Let's give that a shot. 294 divided by 49. And lo and behold, that goes in 6 times, so that's going to be the right one. And you can just try dividing by 4, dividing by 9. If you didn't notice that if 4 didn't work, 16 is not going to either. It won't kill you to go 294 divided by 16 and see that it doesn't work. So you can just go right down that list until you find the one that does. And that's 49 times 6. And once I have that, now I can think of it as square root of 49 times square root of 6. No need to write that, just showing it for the simplifying. So square root of 49 would give us a 7 right there, and root 6. The nice thing about this is once you can do one of these, you can do them all. They're all the exact same problem with the exact same process. The key, to me at least, is to not waste your time, looking for what might go into 294. It's got to be one of those numbers, or it's not going to do you any good. So that list is really the way to make these things go a little bit easier. Hopefully that helps.